So I made that video about rates. All rates matter, and it got unusually popular. I didn't expect people to be that interested in it, but they did. So this is a follow-up video, and this is a follow-up because I didn't fully understand how the rate system worked in Betaflight, and even though I read the research papers on the PID2 system, the new system for 3.1, I didn't fully grasp the concept, I guess. One of the commenters actually helped me understand what the PID2 system is about and how it actually changes the way that the craft feels in the air. So the PID2 system is the D set point and the D transition. These two sliders at the bottom are what you can use to completely change the way the craft feels in the air. So once you get the rotational speed that you want and the amount of rotation that it does per second, even though I don't think that actually makes a difference, I just use that DPS number as a relative number to know how much I'm affecting the movements when I do change numbers. Once you get those down, play with the sliders, and then you'll get the feel that you want out of the craft. So I'm going to tell you as plainly and simply as I can, the D set point is the acceleration when you move the stick around. I'll show you on the sticks too, but I'm going to show you on the craft first. So that means when you pitch it right, it's how fast it responds to your movements. And then the D transition is how slowly, not slowly, but how fast it... All right, so I'm going to use a movement that we commonly do. It's a very common movement. It's the kind of like partial roll and then hold somewhere in the middle to complete the roll slowly. It looks very pretty. It's something that Schizo does, that everybody does. It's just a really nice thing to do, a really nice move, and it looks pretty in the air, it looks pretty in video, whatever. So basically, when you're flying around, the D set point, if you move the stick like this, the D set point is how fast it responds to this movement. And or, you know, full movement, or just any quick little movement. So when your D set point is at 1, it responds 1 to 1. Exactly what your fingers are doing is what the craft will do in the air. If your set point is above 1, it starts to move not quicker, but it just responds more immediately to what your fingers do. It's really hard to describe. I'm going to show it to you in the videos after this discussion, and you might be able to see it a little bit easier. But basically, if you want a quicker, tighter feel to the craft, don't just up your DPS or your RC rate or your expo or any of that crap. Just change the transition, the set point up. Move it from 1, I think default is like 1.1 or 1.5 or something. Move it up to 2, move it to 2.2. As you go up in the spectrum, the response becomes much, not crisp, it just becomes much more twitchy. So racers like that super twitchy feel. They like to feel like they're super in control. I personally don't. I'm more of a freestyle pilot. I rather my sticks be kind of dull. Just don't turn the set point under 1. If you turn the set point under 1, then it will actually respond slower than what your fingers are doing. You got to try it to tell. I mean, I can't even show it in video, but basically if you're trying to do like super duper ultra smooth videography or something, then reduce it to like 0.8 and it'll just, I mean, you're not going to be doing fast movements, but it'll be super ultra smooth. It smooths out all of your little finger twitches and anything that's going on. So that's the set point. That is the most important number, and that is what totally changes the feel of the stick feel of your craft. The transition is how fast it returns or responds backwards to what your previous stick input was. So what that means is that, okay, so that movement again, where we go quick partial flip and then quick partial roll and then hold it to complete the roll slowly. We're not going back to center, we're holding it. So that movement, you'll go quick, and that's the set point, and that'll quickly respond, and then you hold it a little bit, and the speed at which it goes from max or whatever your movement was to the next movement is your transition. That's the best way I can explain it. You got to just try it and feel it to see, and hopefully you can see it in the videos too. But basically, you can have your transition all the way up and it'll be super responsive, but it'll slowly return back to your next movement. It'll respond slowly to the next one, so it still smooths things out. So people have been in the past or really have been stressing over their PIDs and the way those work and how to tune them really well. I personally think that once you get your prop wash out, that's the best. I mean, I don't even know how to tune better than just getting the prop wash out, and that's good enough for me. The rest I do in my rates and the set points, because that is much more powerful to me, to the stick feel and how I fly. This is the wrong thing to say. I know it's incorrect. I know I'm even going to get people responding and telling me it's wrong. I should not have even said this, but the transition, not the set point, can mask a messy PID tune. What I mean by that is that sometimes when you come out of a roll or something and the craft is responding back to the movement to try and stop the movement, you will, do a quick roll, flip back to center, and the craft will wobble, just bounce real quick at the end. Just bounce. You see it in your videos like a bubble, real quick bubble, which is not pretty. Nobody really likes that. We want it to just zip and stop. We don't want it to go boom. We want it to stop. So if your transition, the transition is a little bit lower, then it will soften that bobble at the end. If your transition is at 1, it will respond exactly how the set point responds to the sensitivity. So if your set point is very high, it'll be really jittery and really agile, not agile, but really responsive feeling. And as you move from one move to the next move to the next move to the next move, it'll respond and move at the same rate as the set point. If it's below 1, you can consider it like a percentage of the set point. So if the set point is at 1.5 or something, the transition will be at 0.3 and it'll go to the next move 30% as quickly as when you initially made the move. This is all very, very difficult to explain, very hard to make it like layman's and really understandable. You really have to try it to feel it for yourself, but I'm going to show you the videos. Just look at the numbers and you can probably tell just from the videos what I just said. Look for the bobble when my transition is high, when my set point is high and my transition is high. Look for that bobble when the craft stops, and when the transition is low, when the detransition is like 0.25, 0.3, then you'll see that even though the set point is high and I have really quick movements, the return to the next move or return rate is softer. You don't get that bobble. You get a nice zip and stop. It's masking my messy detune, my messy whatever tune, so I don't have to worry about my PIDs so much.